Hey guys, so we're finally making it out to our tour on the Riverwalk boat. And the scenery is just so beautiful and peaceful.
Microphone check. Good evening and welcome aboard. My name is Craig. I will be your driver as we cover 2.5 miles on the San Antonio River. I got some safety concerns, but nothing is like real major. If you could, try to keep your hands inside the boat. That's just something people say. Obviously, no standing, no smoking. We have life jackets. I really do not know why we were given life jackets. The water, for the most part, is 4 feet deep. And if you have questions, please ask questions. Kids, anyone, it's your boat. I am at your service. It's a narrated boat tour. I'm going to point out the highlights, and you can stop me at any time. Oh, is anyone wearing a hat? Hold on to your hat.
So good.
On my left was St. Mary's University. Today, this is the Omni Hotel. In the 1850s, this was the first college in the city. It was on the river. On my right is Rita's. On my right is the Mocara Hotel. This was the L. Frank Saddle Company. They used to make saddles on my right. Today they make tacos. At one time, this was the largest employer in our city. It was on the river. The first school, the first church, the first theater in San Antonio, they were all built on the water. So we're under Navarro Street. If you can do me a favor, this is kind of cool, and you might enjoy this. Again, we're under Navarro Street, and if you look up high in the sky, and on my left, we see an optical illusion. Again, high in the sky, and on the left-hand side, what looks flat. What looks as if it could be a freestanding wall is the corner location of the Nix Hospital. Completed in 1930, on my left was the birthplace of my grandma. I know the building looks flat, it's a normal building, and it has 4 sides. This has become the more exciting part of the Riverwalk. Now it turns out that the Riverwalk never closes. We are open on Christmas Day. We are open every day. Right now we are on the oldest part of the Riverwalk. The area around the river is 80 years old. So it was completed in 1941. In front of us, of course. But this is it. From very humble beginnings, this is now typically what people think about when they talk about the they come out at night. So when it does become dark, bats are seen flying through the underpass here. Therefore, retail bats are also strong bats. High in the sky, on my way, holding stone, in front of us is the Caucus Street Bridge. People take a boat tour. That usually happens in December. Every winter we light up the trees for Christmas decorations. Now we see people walking on the sidewalk. We always have to be very careful. Over 100 people fall in the river. On my right are mariachis. Mariachi music is taught in high school. Traditional. Checking out the ducks. Ducks around this. I want to
gonna walk around and try to find one so I can film them.
And we might
Yeah.
time of year,
No, not
we
you.
start to see more things.
Mariachi band. Look, now he got me near the birds flying over my head. We was on the wrong side.
We walked past all of these.
No, we did not.
Coming up on my right, we will find a building that will bear the name of Robert Hugman Architect. Hugman was the visionary behind the
Where we
river.
needed to be right there.
On my right was the first business on the water. It was his architectural firm. And also on my right is a sculpture of Robert Hugman's head. Now he put his front door on the water. There he is. A couple of years later, he was joined by Casa Rio on Lake Westlake on the restaurant on the river. And this is where things started down here with the buildings on the right-hand side of the boat. Casa Rio is always busy.
He got the whole family of them. That's the hotel we need to be doing right there.
Now, so far,
Over here.
pretty much everything we've been on up to this point has been a natural body of water, and it does have a footnote. Everything in front of the boat is fake, and it is a concrete extension. If anyone asked you, is the river real? Well, again, behind the boat's real. Even though this is man-made, 99% of the river is natural. The river is over 200 miles long. Most of the river is open to the public. South of downtown, people kayak, people fish. I saw an article, someone recently caught a 39-pound catfish only a few blocks from here. There are seemingly normal people who fish in the river. Well, I'm not a physician, I'm a boat driver. On my left is a butterfly, part of an art gallery on the river that is growing. Artwork will be unveiled on the river by the end of the month of July.
When we get to the hotel, we're gonna walk around.
On my right are two metal flowers. These were unveiled recently. Looks like the pink one's made from old bicycle parts. On my right is a waterfall, a lot of animal life called the Riverwalk Home. We try to keep things moving. We try to prevent the water from becoming stagnant, and waterfall plays a role in that effort. On my right is the Tower of the Americas. At the bottom of the tower, there's a park, there's a playground, there's a giant splash pad. Today's Tuesday. At Tuesday night, when the sun goes down, they have a giant inflatable movie screen. So these children's movies. Last week it was Clifford the Big Red Dog. I don't know what it is this evening. In front of the boat is the Stargazer. Known as the Stargazer, she is holding a star in her hand. She is 16 feet tall. She is made from volcanic rocks. Directly in front of the boat is the largest sculpture that we see on the tour. She's only 2 years old. And the star she's holding is made from a large piece of marble. In front of the boat is the Tower of the Americas. The tower was the centerpiece for the World's Fair. In 1968, San Antonio hosted the World's Fair. It was also known as the Hemisphere. Hemisphere was a big event. Many of the buildings we see tonight, the Hilton, the Tower, the Convention Center, were all built in preparation for hosting the World's Fair. Actually, it's where my parents met. But the World's Fair was a big deal. Above the boat is Market Street. A few blocks to my right is Market Square. If you want to do any souvenir shopping, I would recommend going to the market. I would recommend going to the market during the day. That is when everything is open. Checking out the boats. All the boats are quite a bit different. The boat on my left is a military theme. There's a bald eagle on that boat. Our boat has a bit of a folk theme. There's a bunch of birds on this boat. So the company that I work for, they have 42 boats, and they are built a little bit different. And we're here at the convention center. Downtown today is primarily built for conventions and tourism.
Now just going to stuff like that. Stuff like
Right
that.
now we have two conventions. We have lunch ladies and we have cheerleaders. Tomorrow the band is coming. On my left is a gigantic mosaic mural. On my left is a work of art that features 400,000 tiles. There is a mosaic on my right. I'll turn the boat around, everyone gets a good view. This is the end of the man-made extension. At one time, the river kept going. In the 1960s, the river went past the tower. Over the years, the area to my right was filled in, so we'll turn the boat around. In front of the boat, we see the Lila Cockrell Theater. Lila Cockrell was the mayor when I was a kid. She was the first female mayor of our city. San Antonio currently has a female mayor. Gabriela Ortiz won the election that was held last month. Every tile on my right came from a natural resource from around the world. Every tile on my left is a piece of colored glass. And again, if you want to go see the movie or if you want to go to the park, I would use the staircase on my left. This area is home to Project Marvel. Project Marvel is a proposed huge project that will expand the convention center, restore the Alamo Dome, and build a new basketball arena. By the end of the decade, this should be the future home of the San Antonio Spurs.
Where?
Checking out the plants. Water from the river is used to water the plants. Water from the river is always used to power wash the sidewalks. I use the water to brush my teeth. Embarrassing. The city and the river, we get our water from the Edwards Aquifer. The aquifer is a giant underground lake. That is where we get our drinking water. That is also where the river gets its water. And that is the real reason there's a major city in this part of Texas. This part of the river is often used for our river parades. We decorate the boats. On St. Patrick's Day, we dye the river green. They use food dye. The biggest parade is held the night after Thanksgiving. We turn on the Christmas lights. Mardi Gras, Day of the Dead, these are huge events. On my right is the backside of the Stargazer. In front of the boat is the statue of St. Anthony. St. Anthony is the English version of San Antonio. So on my right, we see he's always holding a baby. He is the patron saint of children. He died in Portugal over 700 years ago. Before the river was named after St. Anthony, this was known as the Yanaguana River. Yanaguana was a Native American term. By the late 1600s, the Spanish had arrived. They had taken control of the region, and they changed the name of our river. Now the river's so important, and we try to keep it clean. It's not easy. Once every 2 years, they never crash. Okay. We train the river walk. It takes 1 hour to train this section. The river is built like a big staircase. It is higher in the north than it is in the south. So if you raise the northern floodgate, if you lower the southern floodgate, the water rushes out of downtown. Now last year, they were draining this part of the river. They were pulling out a bunch of those electric scooters. The things people use on the sidewalk. On my right is St. Joseph. In 1868, St. Joseph opened their doors right, it's the oldest German language church in our city. In the 1800s, we can hear German. In Spanish or English. On my right, this is Spire St. Joseph. And in front of the boat is Alamo Street. This is as close as we get. The Alamo is not on the river. The Alamo does not have a basement. The Alamo is a 5-minute walk from here, and it has become a symbol of perseverance in the face of insurmountable odds. On my right is the Torch of Friendship. This red sculpture was a gift from Mexico. If you can find the torch, that's a yellow crowned knight heron flying above the boat, you can find the Alamo. That work of art's been here for 20 years. And in front of the boat is Costa Rio. They were the first ones to have dinner boats. At night, we take off the chairs, we put a table on the boat. People eat a meal. Dinner boats are fun. You pull up, you get a salad. We drive around, we pick up dinner. We return to the restaurant, and we get dessert. Always have to be very careful. We are not supposed to hit each other. It's like a big deal. People are becoming increasingly litigious. And again, it is light traffic today. On the busiest days of the year, 42 boats are on the river. And we might see some dinner boats.
I want to do a dinner boat.
They usually kick off around this time. And again, always checking out the boats. The boat in front of us has the number 300 on the back. 2018 was the tricentennial. It was the 300th birthday of the city, and they gave us new boats. It was like 7 years old.
Well, every time I see an Irish pub, I think of my girlfriend Colleen. That's the look about it. It's been in my head. Them Irish people, oh my God.
On my left
That's when I woke up with the cat and said it was you.
is the Hilton Palacio del Rio. The hotel on the left-hand side was built using modular construction. They made the beds, they put mints on the pillows, and they put artwork on the walls. And they proceeded to stack these prefabricated rooms on top of each other. If you look to my left, we see a bunch of boxes that are sticking out. These boxes are individual rooms. Now, this hotel was built in about 200 days. This hotel opened their doors just in time for the opening ceremony of the World's Fair. And that was the rush to get some hotels here in time for the Hemisphere celebration. There's a great documentary on YouTube. It's very short, and it will show you how they completed the building behind us.
See? She want to get on the boat before. Look, she's been on the boat before because her grandmama lived down the street. Why am I waiting?
Entering the Arneson River Theater, we have concerts and we have plays at the outdoor venue. As you can see, the theater is divided by the river. On my left is seating. It's good for on my right is the stage. If the stage to the right looks familiar, it was featured in the film Disney Reality. Whenever they do have a concert, I have heard Doug Dales, Paul, and walking the screen, and they get upset. We have a concert here on Friday, every weekend, every summer since 1963. We have live performances. And above the moon is the Rosita Bridge. Rosita Fernandez, she was a local singer. She performed here for over 20 years. This is not the Selena Bridge. We are going to see the Selena Bridge at the very end of it. Zeta, again, was a local singer. Coming up on my right is the Briscoe Art Museum. The Briscoe features artwork from the American West. On my right is a sculpture that is depicting a cattle crossing. Also on my right is a sculpture of a Bronco. And the top floor of the Western Art Museum is dedicated to the Battle of the Alamo. In front of the boat is the Tower Life building, completed in 1929. In front of the boat is the only 8-sided high-rise in the United States. I will talk more about that building in 1 minute. Directly in front of the boat is the American flag. During the tour, I have one safety announcement. Please remain seated. This bridge is very low. The Presa Bridge was built in the 1800s. People were shorter. This is the lowest bridge on the tour. I want to thank you for your cooperation. And on my right is Marriage Island. I saw a wedding here last night. Over 200 small weddings take place every year beneath the giant cypress tree. On my right's a white duck. They say that's a Peking duck.
I'm going to propose at McDonald's.
Supposedly it's a heart-shaped island. It's actually kidney-shaped. And we're going under Navarro Street, checking out the giant cypress trees. During the tour we see palm trees, banana trees, lemon trees, but these are cypress trees above the boat. Seeing Navarro Street once again as we're curving through downtown, so we hit the same streets over and over during the boat tour.
He's digging for gold in there.
That's pretty. That's a house here.
In front of the boat is a granite dome. Directly in front of the boat is the Bexar County Courthouse. Right now, we are in Bexar County. B-E-X-A-R. That is how we spell it, and that's the building in front of the boat. And on my left is an 8-sided high-rise. On my left is a Gothic building. Part of a Gothic building does include gargoyles. If we look above the top row of windows, on the corner we find stone dragons. Again, very top and on the corner. If we look above the bottom row of windows, we will find stone vases, and they are in groups of 2. So we have vases on the bottom, but we do have dragons on the top. Vases and dragons were put here in order to protect the building. Now it turns out they don't work. The building was completed during the Great Depression, and developers lost a fortune trying to finish the building on the left-hand side. See the scaffolding and fencing, this is a construction project. They are pretty much gutting the inside of the building, and they are converting this into a gigantic apartment complex. So that's a huge project that is underway. It's always been a commercial property growing up. This is where my sister's psychiatrist was. And I would hang out at the library. On my right used to be the library. So yeah, on my right was the public library. It's now offices and restaurants. On my right's the marina. This is where we park the boat. Way better for someone In front of the boat is the courthouse. We have some spectacles on the floor. On my left is the retirement home. Again, on my right, this is where the boat goes. The boat's electric, so when we go home, we gotta plug it in before we leave. When we were getting on the boat this evening, I did mention the water was 4 feet deep. Right now, the water will go from 4 feet to 20 feet deep. We are entering the flood control channel. It's the deepest part of the river. When it rains, all the water from the street comes down to the river. And that is what the Riverwalk does. The Riverwalk protects the city from flooding. The nachos, the margaritas, They all came a little bit later. In front of the boat are the love locks, just like over the river Seine in Paris. You fall in love, you buy a lock, and the key is then thrown into the water to symbolize everlasting love.
You and Tyreek
If you
can
look
come.
very closely,
All right.
some of these are combinations,
Y'all both the same
which
song.
totally defeats the purpose. They are supposed to be real
What
locks.
you do first?
Now we're in the flood channel. Unfortunately, we were not always so lucky. In the fall of 1921, a hurricane hit the Texas coast. After the devastating flood of 1921, we began to see the development of the Riverwalk, the floodgates, and the things we use today to protect the city when it rains. Above the boat, these are bats. You can always tell they're bats. They fly in circular formation. They're very small. They're very fast.
Wait, they flying? Oh,
In front of the boat, the river just keeps going. As the river stretches north, away from downtown, it passes the zoo. It passes the San Antonio Museum of Art. And it also passes the Pearl Brewery. Some of the better restaurants in our city
I don't like this
are now
hotel.
inside of the
Why
old
did you
brewery, which is 2 miles north of here. I just said the water was 20 feet deep. Right now the water's 9 feet deep. Now the water has become 8 feet deep. There's a ramp beneath the boat that is rising up. Now the water is probably 7 feet deep. And in front of the boat is a gigantic cypress tree. Very famous location in front of the boat is where the Mexican sniper perched himself during the Battle of Bear. The Battle of Bear took place before the Battle of the Alamo. This tree is at least 90 feet tall. This tree is over 200 years old. And that is the tallest tree on the In front of the boat is floodgate number 3. Now, floodgate 3 is a garage. It weighs 3 tons, and it was built in the 1930s. During times of absolute heavy rain, they lowered the floodgate. Now, this is a backup system. It is not used often. About once or twice a year, yeah. You can hear it on the radio. I was radio. Drop the floodgate just to make sure it's intact. When we drain the river in January, often they drop that. I guess can't do that. Because the owner's going to need to do so. On my right, massive construction. They're building apartments here. The people that live here, they're going to hear my tour every day. That's a big project. They just finished it. On my right, the Esquire Tavern. The Esquire is the oldest bar on the river. It was a speakeasy during Prohibition. It's 100 feet long. It's like the longest wooden bar in Texas. And above the Esquire Tavern is the Canopy Hotel. On my right, the newest hotel on the river. When looking at the right-hand side, it's kind of an interesting mix. The bar is 90 years old. The hotel is only 3 years old. On my left, we see chandeliers that hang from the ceiling, and it says the light fixtures on my left were literally floating down the river during the flood of 1921. To give you an idea of how before the flood came.
Now that's where you're going today.
In front of the boat is the Selena Bridge. The bridge is named after Selena Quintanilla, and it was featured in the film Selena, starring Jennifer Lopez. People ask quite often, where is the Selena Bridge? Well, this is it. This is the one from the movie. Selena, she was a singer. She was born south of here, near the Texas coast. Selena died tragically young in the 1990s, and the bridge above the boat is named in her memory. Now we are back here at the Aztec Theater. It's the end of the boat tour. I want to thank everyone for coming on board. If you could, please remain seated. I am going to dock the boat. Finally, my name is Craig. Up here next to me, I have a sign. My sign says, for a job well done. You can thank your boat driver. You can give your boat driver a tip. So I do have a tip jar. I do have Venmo and Cash App. This is something that is obviously appreciated. I sincerely appreciate you coming on the boat. I hope you enjoy your evening on the river. Thank you very much. Wherever that's going.
Alright, so that is the end of our tour, and I highly recommend that you guys, if you're ever in San Antonio, Texas, please come through and do the boat on the River Walk. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.